welcome back. Despite being someone who appears very chill and calm on the outside, I'm actually someone with a lot of thoughts running through my brain, a lot of chaos. Journaling has been something that I've always tried wanting to do since the age of 10, but I'd only do it maybe like once or twice a year when shit like really hits the fan. But this year, I'm proud to say I've solidified a very cathartic and energizing journaling process. Overall, just helped me be a more self-aware person, being more patient towards myself and in turn the people around me as well. So today I want to share with you my method of journaling, which is basically just having multiple methods, aka a plethora of different options to suit whichever mood or intention I'm trying to set, whether that's releasing certain limiting beliefs, attracting new relationships into your life, or just soothing the mind. There is something for everyone. But before we get into all of my favorite prompts, I'm just gonna breeze through what supplies I use. Personally, I can't do any journals with templates or questions inside of them already because I find them really restrictive. So what I found works best for me is the extra large 8.5 times 11 inch notebook from Moleskine, because having that really expansive blank air of paper in front of me makes me feel like I can pour all of my feelings onto the page without worrying about running out of space. And then once I'm done, I can step back and observe everything from a bird's eye view to see any themes or new realizations. However, I've also used smaller notebooks in the past, which are very handy if you're on the go. I also have a friend who just prefers to write on loose paper, so definitely try out a couple different options to find what works best for you. Paper-wise, I prefer dotted. It provides just enough structure to keep all my lines straight, while also giving me the flexibility to draw or make different layouts, since I also use my journal as like a calendar, a note keeper, a sketchbook, everything. For pens, I am less picky. My current go-to are from Muji, and I just really like having a couple different colors to choose from just to keep things fresh, you know? Overall, the most important thing to note when you're just letting out all of your emotions is that you're not trying to hide them. You're also not trying to spiral deeper into them. You're essentially brainstorming different solutions or perspectives to help you understand the situation at hand or another person better. Don't worry about being neat or writing in like a English A+ essay format. With that being said, the next method is what actually helped me the most in getting better at writing without prompts: the non-judgmental self-audit. I actually learned this through a Brendan Buchard interview that my therapist sent me a while ago when I was in a very unmotivated spot. It really taught me how to constructively examine my own behaviors as well as my partner's or my parents'. For example, whenever I spent a day feeling really bad about myself, I could then reflect on why exactly that happened and then what I could do differently next time. This method literally rewired my brain to the point that I do this on a very like autopilot mode when things come up. But just as a side note, before I start getting into these prompts, I want to say that journaling may not always provide the amount of support that you need, and in those cases I would always recommend speaking to a licensed professional. Last winter, I had a very heated situation that pushed me to try therapy for the first time. I decided to try out the BetterHelp platform because they made the process a lot less intimidating. They provided me a quiz that I could do to match me with a therapist, and then I could call them from the comforts of my own home. They very kindly sponsored today's video. So if you're also curious to try out therapy, you can use my link, betterhelp.com/LeahsFieldNotes for 10% off your first month. Their service is available worldwide in multiple different languages, and they also provide financial aid. So if you're looking for more support and guidance within your self-growth journey, I would definitely recommend giving them a try. All right, so back to the self-audit. This method consists of 2 sets of prompts that you do during the morning and the night. I don't always answer all the questions, so feel free to choose the ones that are most relevant to that day. The morning prompts are kind of aimed to help you set your intentions and focus for the day. They include: what one word could sum up the person who I need to be? How can I be a great friend, student, daughter? How can I show appreciation to my mom, partner, teacher? What are 3 words I want to keep in mind all day? The message I have for myself today is, and then my favorite question is, the most difficult thing I have to face today is, my best self can overcome it by, maybe that's breaking things down and just like starting small. I love this one so much because, you know, maybe there's a day where I have to like film a video that I'm nervous about and I like wake up already feeling like a little bit anxious about it, but then this prompt really helps to gear me into focus and think about like, what can I best self do to make that process easier and less daunting. And then last but not least is, what habit can I develop today, which I also really love. And then a question you can ask yourself throughout the day is, what activities or tasks will bring me the most joy and lightness? So this isn't in terms of like instant gratification, but in terms of like long-term joy. So maybe that's like finally cleaning the house, or like going for a walk, or finishing like a project deadline. Those can all be things that help make you feel better long term, even though they're not the easiest to do at the moment. Then at the end of the day, the evening prompts are what helped me reflect on what I did well and what I could do better, which is what actually really helped me rewire my thinking pattern. So some of my favorite prompts are, what did I learn about myself today? What did I learn about other people? Where did I demonstrate my best today? What habits made my day better? What decisions did I make? Where did I get stuck or frustrated? A negative thought that I had that I no longer need to have. How did I treat myself today? How did I treat other people? Did I move swiftly towards my goals? Did I generate the energy I needed to do my best? Did I avoid distractions and focus on the task at hand? What did I appreciate about today or this current life stage? So now moving on to my probably current favorite journaling method is full moon journaling. Journaling with the beautiful moon. I just think it's so beautiful to have a journaling process that follows the natural cycle of nature. It's also very perfect for someone who is a bit busier or just wants to check in on a monthly basis. So as the name suggests, you do this journaling prompt on or a few days after the full moon, which also cosmically represents this energetic peak once the moon has grown to its biggest, most fullest form, and then it starts the process of waning. So as the moon gets smaller, it's the perfect time to align yourself with the things that you also want to release or let go of in your life, whether that's old habits, limiting beliefs, or relationships that are holding you back. I also find it really helpful to be setting more of these monthly goals, which are a lot more attainable and less daunting. It's also so fun to like flip back to the past months and see how much you've grown, or like what you've let go of and what you've manifested into your life. So the prompts that I follow, which I believe are from Wellness with Soph, are, what do you need to release? Maybe that's unrealistic expectations of yourself, this deep inner critic. What do you want to attract? More love, kindness, self-worth. What are the themes that you've seen in your past 14 days? Maybe you were feeling very social, but then you over-socialized by accident. In that process, you also had themes of making new friendships or feeling re-inspired. So after meditating on these questions, it really helps to solidify what are the goals and intentions you want to have for the following month. Maybe that's prioritizing your mental and physical health as a whole. Then you would go to write down your actionable steps. So that could be setting a chunk of time every morning to work out, meditate, and then eating dark leafy greens at least once a day. And then finally, you wrap everything up with your affirmations to just like feel pumped up and aligned for this like new month of you that you're going into. For me, that's often telling myself I'm loved, I'm worthy, and I treat myself with the same kindness and encouragement that I treat my friends with. Alright, so next up, if you're someone who loves doing a consistent daily ritual, I would highly recommend doing future self journaling, which is again very goal oriented towards who you want to become. So every morning or before you start your day, you would start off by writing down your affirmations. Again, this helps to like ground yourself, feel empowered to who you want to be. And then you write down, today I will focus on shifting my pattern of procrastination. Maybe it's impatience. And then write, I have the opportunity to be my future self when I show up for myself even when I don't feel like it. And then the person I'm becoming will feel more confident, courageous, When I think about the person that I'm becoming, I feel proud, excited, warm, and then you sprinkle in a little bit of gratitude. So I'm grateful for my family, my education, and then you finish off with a little gassing yourself up moment. I am proud of, list the traits that you admire about yourself. Maybe that's being creative, curious. I know people who do this every single day, or you could do it like just whenever you feel like it. This one definitely helps you visualize and like get excited for this better version of yourself that you're becoming or already embodying. So the last set of prompts I want to leave you with is what I use when I feel triggered by a certain situation or person and I react in a way that's a little abnormally intense. For example, I'm just gonna put myself on blast here. I've noticed that when I have a partner that I really love, it's very hard for me to say goodbye. And I mean goodbye in a very casual sense, like, oh, you're off to go hang out with your friends now, going to party, bye. I find myself feeling extremely sad to the point that I have cried. When I step out of this situation and look at myself from a bird's eye view, it makes no sense. Like, it's very irrational. I look like a crazy girlfriend or just a 5-year-old child, which I mean, we all are inside of us. So instead of just sweeping this behavior under the table of being a psychotic Gemini, this journaling method has actually really helped me realize why I react in this certain way. These prompts are literally called the reprogramming method, which I found through TBM. So the first question you want to ask yourself is, what is this event, situation, or person triggering inside of me? And in my previous example, it was abandonment, which never even occurred in my mind that I was experiencing that. Then you ask yourself, why is this emotion being triggered? What do I lack inside myself that is making me feel this way? So for me, it was really a lack of security, a lack of feeling loved, which then leads us to the question of, what is this emotion telling me I need? This is when things start really taking a turn. You ask yourself, where in my life have I needed this the most and from whom? The way this person just popped into my mind so fast, it surprised me. My mom. In retrospect, all of our childhood traumas are tied to our parents or guardians or family around us. At this point, I still did not believe I had childhood traumas because I was like, my parents are nice to me, they've never did anything like super wrong, like I'm fine, I don't have childhood trauma, you know, like other people have it worse than me. But then, okay, here's the next question. Can I trace this back to a memory where this was very apparent and painful? And for me, it drew up a very surprising, but also, I mean, like kind of obvious now, but very surprising memory, which is one of the first times that I got dropped off at daycare. This was after we had immigrated from China to Vancouver. I was probably 3. I have a very vivid memory. I'm grabbing on to my mom on one hand, who's pulling to leave to go to work because she is a single mom who needs to provide for her family. And on the other hand, I'm getting dragged the other way by one of like the daycare preschool teachers. And this memory, which I've known I've had, this time flashed back into my body with all of the emotions that I felt in my tiny 3-year-old body. Like I was reliving it, all of this like fear, this sadness, this like terror just like completely came all back into my body, and I just like couldn't stop crying. I really felt like my mom was like deserting me into this place of like all these white people that I'm like don't speak the same language of. When I look at it from that child's perspective, I now understand why that was such a traumatic experience. That event embedded in me this fear of being abandoned. Feeling that, understanding it, I'm like, holy shit, like it totally makes sense why I start feeling so emotional when my partner, this person I love, trust, who cares for me, when this action of them leaving is like subconsciously triggering this like full body pain inside of me. And then knowing that information, you can now ask yourself, why do I still shrink or stay small in this area of my life? How can I give myself what I need? As someone who can be a bit unforgiving to me, I need to remind myself to be more loving, more gentle, more caring, and that could be spending more time alone doing self-care, self-soothing activities, being more gentle and understanding on days that I'm not feeling my best. So at the end of the day, you just really got to work on loving yourself the strongest. Although this realization doesn't like suddenly change my behavior, it opens the portal to allow me to do so by showing me this wisdom. This event probably occurred maybe like 4 or 5 months ago, but in this time I've already seen how much I have progressed in being able to like hold space for myself, to feel loved, to feel seen, and like communicate to the other person when I have these feelings coming up to help establish my boundaries. So overall, I'm like very proud of myself. This process of growth, learning to be kinder, more loving to yourself is something that I'm going to be going through my whole life. We all are, so please don't feel like you're alone. Think of it like a video game, like up-leveling. Everything that happens is here to support you, cheering you on. You are freaking awesome. And if you have any methods that you love, you'd also like to share, please leave them down below. I'd love to add them to the beginning of my notebook to try out later as well. I love you, you're awesome, and have a beautiful day. I will see you very soon. Oh.